What's up, guys? How y'all doing? So I'm back. It's been a couple Thursdays. I was missing the mic, but I got some heat and some fire from you tonight, straight from Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, by the way, just in case I see you in Walmart or I see you in McDonald's and you're asking me, Finch, man, what are you doing on this Facebook thing, man? Why do I keep seeing you on my Facebook timeline? This is what I'm doing. Johnnie Finch is tired of going on Facebook and going through people's comments and trying to make peace about things. I'm tired of the negative energy. And so as opposed to going on people's pages, talking about what the left is saying, talking about what the right is saying, talking about who's holier than thou, talking about who's the devil, who's going to heaven and who's going to hell, I said, I'm going to take some positive people, put them on my Facebook Live, and we're just going to run with it. So that's what I'm doing. If anybody want to ask. So tonight, if you're a rapper, if you're a gospel musician, aspiring singer, manager, agent, you want to go to law school, you want to know about entertainment law, this is where you need to be. I'm going to give you guys about 15 seconds to call everybody in because I got a heavy hitter in here tonight. It's going to school us. It's going to school all of us because I know nothing about entertainment law. Last time I heard anything about entertainment law, I got to admit it was probably on TV. So I'm ready to get schooled. I got my pen and my pad. If you know somebody who's looking to just be educated just enough, then I'm bringing somebody straight from Atlanta, Georgia, straight from the South, because you know that's where music was birthed at. All right, guys. 10 seconds. All right, I'm back. It's my honor to introduce to you a young lady who surpasses the norm when it comes to being an advocate in the area of entertainment law. Her name? Can you introduce yourself, please, ma'am?
My name is Atty. Dixon.
And where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, but I currently live and my operations and everything is based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta. It's a lot going on in Atlanta. It's a lot of money in Atlanta. It's a lot of music in Atlanta, isn't it?
It's a lot of music in Atlanta. It's a lot of film in Atlanta. It's a lot of businesses in Atlanta. The young, the young Black community is booming. Millennial community is booming in Atlanta. Tech companies and stuff, the startups and everything, a lot of them are coming to Atlanta. So yeah, it's a lot going on down here.
So, because I was preparing for the night, I had my notes going on. I looked up and down your bio. I searched everywhere that I could, but the first thing I saw was, or the second thing that caught up was that you're a hip hop head. Is that true? Like, you're a lawyer and you listen to rap music? Is that true? Is that acceptable?
Oh, what? Yes, I'm a hip hop head before I'm a lawyer any day, for real. Like I'm a hip hop head, I'm a music head. That's just, and that goes into my story, like in terms of that's just what I love. That's just in me. I'm a former drummer. Oh, I'm not really a former drummer. My husband hates when I say that because if you're a drummer, you're always a drummer. But I'm a drummer and I love music. So yeah, no, I'm a hip hop head. My favorite rapper is Jay-Z. He is the greatest of all time. And don't debate me on this. We can debate if you want to. But yeah, so for sure.
Well, I got that. Tell me how it came about that you decided entertainment law was where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do.
Well, ultimately, it sounds cliche, but I just wanted to do what I love. And I was trying to figure out what was an outlet for me to be able to operate in my passion, but still in a more behind the scenes type of way. So my mom, she always wanted to be an attorney, and she worked for the government and in the Army Reserve for for majority of her life. And becoming an attorney is like her second career. So she always talked about her love for the law and everything. And so that kind of pushed me, and I enjoyed that, or I was interested in that as well. But like I said, my passion was always music and sports. So for me, I was just trying to figure out, like I said, what avenue could I operate in my passion. And so if I was going to do law, I was going to have to do it. And it was going to have to surround music or sports or both. So that's pretty much how this came to be.
Okay. Now, your mom's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a lawyer.
Yep.
So it's a mom and daughter team. Do I have that right? It's a mom and daughter team.
We're a team, and we run, our practice together, or we run a law firm together, but it's totally separate in terms of our practices. So for me, it's all entertainment, intellectual property, business, entrepreneurial law, so working with startups and small businesses. My mom, she has a totally different practice. So she's doing like workers' comp, probate, bankruptcy, personal injury, those type of things. So, or those fields of law. So, we're partners, but not really. Our practices are totally separate, totally different.
I got you. From a parenting standpoint, is there anything that I need to do differently with my children because I'm a lawyer? Is there anything area that I need to be focusing on as a parent to my child? Should I not cross-examine them when they make mistakes? Is there anything that you can give me that I should do when I go home tonight?
From a law standpoint, I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I know for me, I would say to make sure that they find what they love to do and what they're passionate about. And that's one thing that I'm really passionate about now, is I feel like a lot of times we're pushing kids into one direction, into the direction that we think that they should go. And they end up being miserable. They aren't doing what they really love to do, or they aren't operating in their true talents. They aren't using their true gifts because it's a different type of path. So a lot of times and obviously I'm big on education, so I'm sure we'll get to that eventually, but a lot of times you go to school, you get a traditional type of job. Like you're discounting that this kid may be really good at drawing, and so they can become an artist, or they might be really good at I don't know, like graphic computer work, and so they could become a video game developer or something like that. But because we don't know those paths, a lot of times I feel like our parents kind of push us in the opposite direction. And so I have so many friends now that's in that 32-year-old range, and they're unhappy because they're working a job, and they're not doing what they're passionate about. And not honestly, they're not even operating, they're not using their gifts, their true gifts. So as a parent, I would say, I'm not a parent, but I would say it's important to really try to figure out what your kid is passionate about, what they love to do, and try to steer them in that direction, even if it's not a traditional direction.
I got you. Now, you spoke about education. Tell Facebook a little bit about your educational background, please, so they know that you are educated and you have all the.
Well, I guess we'll start at college. The best decision I ever made was to go to Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. It is a HBC. It's an HBCU, and it is a all women's college, and that was the best decision I made by far. In my life. It brought me to Atlanta, and so that's wonderful. I was able to actually march in Clark Atlanta's band. I had some friends from high school, and I marched in Clark Atlanta's band. And so I was the first, I think, woman section leader, percussion section. And I went to Spelman, so that was pretty cool. And so a lot of the relationships that I made, in the band is, kind of really taking me to today. I was actually at the studio late last night with one of my my section, my drum section members or whatnot.
Was that Trick Daddy?
No, it wasn't Trick Daddy, but you're gonna hear him soon. He's a big time producer. He's coming up. So so Spelman took me to that. Obviously with Morehouse, I met my husband. He's a Morehouse grad, so that was the best decision I ever made. So I undergrad with Spelman, and I decided to go back home. Like I said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and to Sanford University's Cumberland School of Law, and went to Sanford, enjoyed being back home. That was cool. And it was a different type of experience because I went from being at an HBCU to going to Cumberland. And I think it was, I guess in my 1L class, it was probably, we'll say 180 students. And it was only 6, Black students. So that was different.
How do you deal with that? Tell me how you deal with that. We're gonna go off on voir dire for a minute.
Yeah.
For all the people that don't know legal terms, we're going on voir dire. That means we're gonna step outside of the video so I can have a separate interview with her that everybody can see. But I want to go on voir dire. So it was 180 students. 6 of them were African American. Now, were they all African American, or was it 6 minority, or was it 6 Black?
I'm going to say 6 Black.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 Black. There were more minorities, but it was 6 Black.
Did you know that going into law school that was going to be the demographic?
No. Now, obviously, I knew that I didn't expect it to be like 30% or anything like that, or definitely not 50 or anything. I didn't expect 6. I don't think I really thought it through in terms of what I expected, but not 6. But it was wonderful because I had spent the last 4 years at HBCU, and I was it's not much diversity at an HBCU. So to be in a different environment, it was cool. I learned a lot. I was able to have friends of different races and cultures and backgrounds. And I went to a diverse high school as well. So I was accustomed to it, but still, 4 years is a long time. So you kind of get out of certain things. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a challenge, obviously. It was a bit of a challenge, but I still enjoyed it.
Now, as far as do you know the demographic or the number of percentage of African American attorneys in Atlanta?
I don't know that percentage.
Do you see them all the time?
It seems like it seems like it's a lot, that's for sure. I'm not exactly sure, but I do. I do see a lot all the time. I know quite a few. But you know how the South is too. I mean, in the South, it's really black and white here.
Yeah.
And I have friends like in LA, they'll come here, and it's like, man, like they're used to a lot more diversity. It's pretty much, you see nothing but black and white here.
I got you. One more question. What was your initial feeling about approaching the situation where there were so little African Americans there? Like, what was your initial thought about? I mean, how did you feel about going to class and the overall structure of the law school?
Oh, it was really intimidating. It was definitely intimidating for multiple reasons. One, I actually felt like I went to law school like right after undergrad. So surprisingly, I thought there were going to be a lot of students that went right after undergrad as well, but there were a lot of students that took time off. They worked for a couple of years. They might have already got master's degrees or something like that. So it's already a different environment. And on top of that, the students are older. They're more mature. They have certain life experiences. They're used to working a 9-to-5. So typically, like, the first thing they typically tell you in law school is treat it like a 9-to-5, in terms of, obviously you're studying way later than that, but try to get up, go to class, study until, 5 or 6. I'm guessing you go home or whatnot and study again. But, for me, technically, I had never worked a 9 to 5. Obviously seasonal jobs and stuff like that, summer jobs, internships, but I had never worked a 9 to 5. So I felt like that was a little harder because you had all of these other students that they were used to being on a more structured schedule and everything. So it was really intimidating. It took a while to kind of really get the hang of it and to get comfortable, to be honest.
Got you. We're going to go back into the interview. Okay, we're back. Let's jump into it. I'm going to be honest with you. What is entertainment law? Please educate me. I don't really know what it is. What is entertainment law?
Well, it's just the law surrounding entertainment. It's so many facets of entertainment law. You have music, in terms of entertainment, period. You have music, you have sports, you have film, you have fashion, which is really big, obviously now. You have, I met someone that they primarily work with like makeup artists, so artists, period. That could be graphic design artists, photographers, actual artists, that actually like paint and everything. You have literary art, so you have people that just work with authors. So it's so many facets of entertainment, and really entertainment law is just the law that surrounds those facets of entertainment. So sports law is different from film. It's the things that you need to know in regards to film, or can be, not completely, not all the times different, but and it can be different when you're talking fashion in terms of how you're approaching the profession. And then obviously music can be, a little bit different as well.
I got you. Now, so there's a couple gentlemen up here. Jeffery Robinson, I know him personally to be one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. Now, Jeffery, he has all the skills.
What's up, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think Jeffrey's question, and my question for Jeffery is, when does he know he needs an entertainment lawyer?
Well, one thing, and this is outside of just even an entertainment lawyer, you should be educating yourself on entertainment law from the jump. And that's even before you may necessarily want to speak with an before you even necessarily want to speak to an attorney. For sure, educate yourself on the law. I personally think that you want one from the beginning. And that doesn't mean that you're necessarily actively, constantly working with an attorney, but at least one that you can have, consultations with, maybe that you can bounce certain things off if you have any questions about a particular aspect of what you're doing, to make sure, hey, do I need to, I'm working with this guy, do I need any paperwork for working with this, this co-writer or something like that. But yeah, from the jump, you should be at least educating yourself on the law surrounding whatever you're doing. So if it's music, you should be educating yourself on copyright laws, educating yourself on publishing, educating yourself on what you need to do in terms of distribution. And if you're working with other people, what do you need to do to protect yourself as you're working with other people? So I hope that kind of answers your question. But as soon as possible, honestly, and and the aspect of the relationship can change as you continue to grow and you start to do more with your music.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier, the only context I ever really remember entertainment law kind of coming back was I guess it was back in 1996, 97, 98 when Puff Daddy had signed the Locks, and I think it was like 10, 15 years. It was some type of contract, and they said that he was slaving them out. They couldn't get paid, and that was pretty much the context I knew. Could you tell or let North Carolina know when is a situation present itself where someone is about to be taken advantage of like that? And are there any red flags that they can look for in a situation?
So for one, and that's a great question. So it kind of goes back to Jeffrey's question as well. Anytime you're getting ready to sign any kind of agreement, especially when you're talking like a record label agreement as you're referencing, you definitely need an attorney. We were actually talking about this yesterday because a lot of times, did he live off that? Yeah, he has a relationship, definitely a reputation for it. But honestly, from what I hear from a lot of people, and I'm gonna go back to what I'm saying, but honestly, what I hear from a lot of people is he's just doing what everyone does, to be honest, or at least everyone did at the time. But you know, he's Puff. He's a brand name, so it's put out there a little bit more in the forefront. But for sure, whenever you're getting ready to sign an agreement, especially a record label agreement, definitely speak with the attorney for that. We were talking about this the other day that unfortunately you will be surprised at how many people do one or two things. One, they sign an agreement, whether that's an actual major label agreement or even an indie label agreement, without getting an attorney to look over it, or specifically an attorney that specializes or focuses their practice in entertainment law. For whatever reason, maybe they can't afford one or whatnot, but you don't want to go. You want to figure out some kind of way. Whether you're working with the attorney, whether you're having to borrow money from someone else, because with a lot of these contracts, you will be locked in for years, and you will feel like you're being taken advantage of, because you probably are, or you'll feel like you can't breathe, in terms of and actually put out your art, because you didn't get someone else to really look at and read and help negotiate your contract. So yeah, we got all off, so I don't even remember the initial question.
No, that was the question. When somebody was about to be taken advantage of.
And two, to kind of piggyback on that, it doesn't take a major label, for someone to be taken advantage of. So I don't want to make it seem like someone can only be taken advantage of if it's a big time record label. I've seen people get taken advantage of for small indie labels or for management companies. To Melanie put in here, Passman is all you need to know about the music business is actually Don Passman. But that is actually, I have it right here too. This is like, so shout out to Melanie. This is like the music or the industry Bible right here. So if you're thinking about getting into it or you're already into it, definitely read this for sure. So like I said, shout out to Melanie on that. But yeah, educate yourself for sure.
Now, and I asked you this before we came on. I'm really confused about the difference between the role of an entertainment lawyer, an agent, and a manager. Could you speak to just briefly to each, or if they're all the same thing, let the audience know what's going on, because we don't.
Now it depends based on the industry, as well. So what a manager would do in music could be different what a manager would do in film, or especially with agents, obviously, which is different what an agent would do in sports. So it really depends on like that industry, that particular industry within entertainment. So for music, managers, you have two types of managers, but I think we typically think of as a manager is like the personal manager. So they handle a lot of your day-to-day. They're constantly with you. I typically like to say they're like your business mom or your music industry, kind of mom. They're helping to secure big deals for you. They're literally doing everything. When I think of agent, with the music industry, I'm thinking of like more so a booking agent. Obviously, you're thinking of agents for sports. You're thinking, the person that actually, negotiates the contracts and everything, and the lawyers kind of just handle the details and everything like that. So with music specifically, if we're just talking music, the lawyers are typically handling just the legal aspect of it. You have the managers, they're handling more of the day-to-day, they're helping to secure business. You have some attorneys that, the managers are helping to secure deals and stuff like that, or actually shopping the artists. You have some attorneys that They deal shop as well. Some do, some don't. It just really depends on if that's something you're comfortable with, and if or there's something they're comfortable with, and if they have connection and everything like that. But that gets really tricky. But yeah, so it really just depends based on the industry within entertainment.
Let's step back a little bit because my brain is pumping from all this entertainment. That's why you're the expert, guys. Listen, she told you what book to get. She told you to educate yourself. But at the end of the day, if I'm looking to get in the industry and I have a contract that's in front of me, how do I go about getting up with you, my friend? But the fact that I'm in North Carolina and I'm looking at singing in North Carolina, can I still contact you in Atlanta?
Yeah, for sure.
And how would I go about doing that?
Well, you can reach me multiple different ways. I'm on IG heavy, so you can reach me on IG, Twitter, or Facebook at Sade ESQ, and that's SHADEESQ. You can reach me on the website at www.thdlegal.com. You can reach me on my email, which is Sade, SHADE, at thdlegal.com. That's pretty much it. But
so pretty much, if they want to put their hands on you, they can.
Yeah, for sure. I'm out here in these streets.
I promise you that I had to touch on this topic. Now I understand that you play a major role, or you're highly involved in your church.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the difference in the industry from what you can see when it comes to gospel music as opposed to rap, or if there's a difference at all that you can see.
Now, honestly, I haven't really had much of an opportunity to deal with the gospel side of it. I helped a client of mine that he's like a party promoter, and he was like putting on a concert, and he was bringing in Tasha Cobbs. But that's the most I've kind of dealt with the gospel side of things. I look forward to it. I'm a fan of I don't want to call it gospel rap. I don't really like calling it gospel rap. To be honest with you, because gospel rap sounds
fast gospel. It's faster gospel. It's faster lyric gospel.
It's just like gospel rap seems so cheesy, but I'm a fan of your Lecrae's, your Trip Lee's, your Andy Mania's. Like, I'm a fan of them. So I do hope to really get those clients and kind of get into it. But I haven't had the opportunity yet to really kind of dive into the gospel sector of it to know really the differences.
Now, this entrepreneurs ministry leadership team, which church do you go to?
Elizabeth Baptist Church is off. Well, we have multiple locations, but the main location is off Cascade Road in Atlanta. Pastor Craig Oliver. So if you're in Atlanta, I'm sure you probably heard of Elizabeth.
Okay, and there's the entrepreneurs ministry leadership team there.
Yeah, it's an entrepreneurs ministry, which is really cool.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I had never. And I know there are churches now that have them, but at the time, I had never heard of an entrepreneur's ministry before at a church. And so we thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And so really, it's a support group. We do monthly meetings. Along with, obviously, it's a ministry too, so we try to give back in other areas. So we do like what the church calls love in action events and stuff as an entrepreneur's ministry and everything. But it's wonderful. We do monthly meetings, and they're all surrounding certain topics that are important to entrepreneurs, but also too kind of bridging what it means to be an entrepreneur and a Christian at the same time. So a lot of times we deal with like stuff like or topics like how do you tithe? Do you tithe if you're solo, or small business owner? What do you tithe? Are you supposed to tithe your business earnings? Are you supposed to tithe business and personal? So we really talk about that. What does the Bible say about entrepreneurship? That type of thing. So I love the entrepreneurs ministry, and so I'm actually on the leadership team. So that's what what you're referencing. And my title is, what is my title? Young adult director of young adult recruiting, something like that. And just trying to bring more young adults and more young entrepreneurs into the ministry.
You've done a spectacular job, and I don't even know if you've done it on purpose, of just taking who God has you to be and touching all the places that you love. It appears as though you're just an effective person in general, because even when you go to church in the entrepreneurs group, I read about 10 different community groups that you are involved in. How do you find time to yourself, with law practice and all of the different community events that you're doing? And how important is that to you?
Ooh, balance. That's so funny. I don't like because it's always something. So for me personally, I have a law firm, and then I actually have a entertainment company that I run with my husband. And so we have a creative consulting division as well as a indie entertainment label. So when I'm not doing law stuff, we're working with the artist that we work with. He's a music producer as well, so we're working on his stuff, working with the artists that we work with. And also I picked up like 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago, I wanted to find another outlet because I wasn't playing drums as much anymore. And so I picked up photography. I was like, oh, it'll be cool. So I'm constantly trying to, kind of hone that craft and get better at photography and stuff like that. So honestly, it's not much balance. When I'm not working doing law work, I'm working doing something else. I'm doing a photo shoot, or I'm in the studio trying to help put together records for artists that we're working with, or something like that. It's not much balance, to be honest.
Well, I mean, honestly, it seems like that. I mean, your life gives you breath, though, because even here tonight, I'm watching you talking about doing what you love, and you don't seem like you're tired, and it's almost 8:10 at night. And so, I mean, obviously, you're getting your rest where you need to get it. I always take the end of the show to give you about 15 to 35 seconds just to talk to my audience here in North Carolina. Encourage them in whichever way you would do. If you want to pray, that's fine. I'm going to be gone, and I'm going to come back in about 20 seconds. Talk to them for me, attorney.
Okay. All the pressure. Well, first off, for everyone that's seeing this, I appreciate you joining. One thing I would say, and I know I kind of stressed it multiple times, is find out what you're passionate about, and try your best to operate in that passion, to help others, to help yourself, to be a beacon in your community, all of that. Honestly, that's the most important thing to me, is preaching or pushing the agenda of people operating in their passion. So if you have any questions, that I know we didn't get into everything, but if you want to hit me on Instagram, hit me on Facebook. Like I said, Sade ESQ, SHADE I'll be happy to answer, any questions. We can schedule, a time to talk, anything like that. But yeah, man, do what you keep doing what you love. Keep operating in your passion. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. And that's one thing that we didn't really get into. I'm past this 15 seconds, but that's one thing we didn't really get into in terms of just even my path and kind of starting. I didn't work for anyone straight out of law school. I started my practice straight out of law school, and that's hard. And it's people that's told me that you can't do that, and you're not.
You must be crazy. You must be crazy. You come straight out of law school and you think you can run your own firm? Are you crazy, girl?
And especially entertainment, because it's a relationship business. And so it's all about who you know and building these relationships. But my whole thing was, if I can't do what I love, then I might as well just, if I'm gonna have to grind, let me just grind out here and let me figure it out. I just want to do what I love. I want to operate in my passion. So yeah, keep doing that. If you're not doing it, do it.
Awesome. Guys, I did say before we leave, she shouted out a book. I'm gonna shout out a book. Y'all know Mike Bonner. Go pick up his book. It's called Get Up or Give Up: How I Almost Gave Up Teaching. So go pick up that book. Also, I promised Titus Stepney that I was gonna play his music tonight, but my computer's acting up, so I'm gonna get to that next week. I appreciate you guys. You know I'm not gonna hold you. As always, be good to yourselves. Find somebody tomorrow, encourage them, and show them to this book. If you need any help, you got some money in your pocket, call down to Atlanta so you can talk to Miss Sade because she's a paid lawyer. Again, none of this is legal advice, guys. She's a lawyer, but she's not your lawyer. So, but if you need her, give her a call, send some money her way, and she's going to be working hard for you. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.